Just a quick one before we dive in. I've just opened up 2 brand new ways to work with me. If you're an established beauty professional who's ready to increase your revenue, either in your clinic or by moving into the online mentoring and educational space, you can join me for a 2-month container where we build and validate your first online offer or your next big move. Or if you're ready to go all in, there is a 7-month private mentorship where we build, launch and scale your new revenue stream together. If you're not sure which one's right for you, I'm offering a handful of free business clarity calls, quick and powerful to map out your fastest path and to see which container fits best. Just DM me the word revenue on Instagram or check the link in the show notes and email me. Let's get into the episode.
Welcome to the Beauty Build podcast with me, Zara King. As a coach for beauty pros, it is my mission to help you earn more, work less, and create an unstoppable mindset. This is the show where we explore all of that. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting your beauty business, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us on the journey. And for more, get yourself inside my private community, The Beauty Build on Facebook. Hello, you gorgeous beauty pro, and welcome back to another episode. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate every single one of you who tunes in on a weekly basis. If you love this episode as much as I love recording all of these episodes, please take a screenshot and pop it on your stories and tag me. The reason I ask you to do that every single episode is because of something that I'm going to speak about today. It is the topic of today's episode. It's the power of collaboration, the beauty of collaboration. And it's, that saying that always gets us every time. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And I wanted to do an episode on this. It's not going to be a huge, lengthy episode because I don't think it needs that. I think I want to get out there to beauty professionals that they need to leverage the power of collaborations and relationships and other people. There are other episodes on this podcast about this type of thing, and I touch on this type of thing a lot, but I wanted to do an episode on it today because I want to talk a little bit, I'm going to get into this, about actually leveraging multiple audiences, if you like, when you do things like collaborations, because everyone I come across that I talk to in my coaching program, they will have tried some form of collaboration and it just didn't go the way that they wanted it to go. And for me, I remember in my whole life, I remember going back, way back when, if you listen to the first episode of this podcast, you'll hear all about my story. It's a long story cut short, but there are lots of different bits and bobs that I talk about in that episode. And you'll realise that every single thing I have done in my career is literally been a knock-on effect of knowing someone or speaking to someone or putting myself out there. And those are the 2 main things in life that I have learned, literally. It is who you know and it is putting yourself out there. They really are. I'm sitting here thinking, is there anything else? I mean, yes, there are other lessons that we learn, but 2 of the most important ones are literally those. So I wanted to do a little episode on it today because it's come up again. I've had an incredible few weeks. I've probably had an incredible month at the time of recording this, where I've been, and this happens to me on and off all the time, where I have such a good, a couple of weeks of it, where I have people reaching out to me, would you like to come to this event? Would you like to do this for us? Would you like to collaborate on this? Can we do this? Can we get in front of your audience? We'd really love if you did this. I'd really love if you speak here. And do you know what? Sometimes it just really lights me up, but I also want to tell people this wouldn't be happening. I wouldn't be getting these opportunities, doors wouldn't be opening if I didn't put myself out there and if I didn't focus on the fact that I need to leverage who I know. And it doesn't mean asking people for favours all the time, and it doesn't mean making yourself look silly, and it doesn't mean banging on about yourself, things like that. It's not, it's nothing like that. It's just always remembering. It's certainly not using people either, for your advantage, but it's always thinking about, well, who do I know? And also, when I am around people, do I make connections enough? Do I sow seeds enough? And that is what it's all about. And for me, especially lately, it's just been one of those things that has really hit home, I felt it really strongly lately in my life and in my business. So I wanted to do an episode because, the relationships that you create in the beauty industry are so important. When I first started in this industry, I created a relationship with my trainer. I created relationships with every single client that I saw mobile. I created relationships with other techs that I knew. I created relationships with the people that I moved into salon with and the hairdressers that came on board. I didn't even know anything about hair really, other than the fact that I did work in a hair salon when I was about 13. And I learned so much from those people. And they probably learnt a thing or two from me. And now, things that I look back on and think, oh yeah, I learnt that. It was because of that. And that had a knock-on effect to this, and then that for this, and then that. And so you realise that really and truly where you are is a knock-on effect of all of those things, and it started with knowing somebody. And so for you in the beauty industry, maybe you're solo, maybe you're on your own, because that is who I generally help, self-employed beauty pros doing this on their own from home or mobile or in a salon or renting a space somewhere else. And it's just super important that you don't feel alone and that you do build relationships. And I just want to explore a topic, about collaborations with multiple people, because this will help you start to do that. And so in a couple of years, when you think about where you are in your life and business, you might think, well, yeah, that's because I did that time. And so it will allow you to be a little bit more productive. It will allow you to have a little bit more audience growth. It will allow you to, do things that you haven't done before and get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Obviously, I know it can be daunting when I'm saying, I think you should do collaborations with multiple people and things like that. So I think where you need to begin is thinking about building a network of the people that you look up to, people that you are on the same level with when it comes to building your business. Things like, different beauty therapists, people that maybe have a similar audience to you but don't compete with you directly. Things like the influencers in your area, if there are any, or further out, brands or different local businesses and things, right? When you start building a network and building relationships and just getting in front of people and getting your name out there a little bit and making sure people recognize you via your social media and, things that they might see of you in and around the local area, if you put out things and flyers or whatever in different places, or even if you had stickers on your car and you drove around, if you put out like a name for yourself in the area as well. There's loads of other ways you can do that. This isn't about that today, but building a network and getting your name out there is super important. And then it will help you do things like approach somebody to do maybe a collaboration, or that could be some sort of giveaway or competition, or it could be some sort of event, or maybe you do an online event or a live together. Maybe you want to spread some education, maybe you want to do an in-person thing. So many different things. But that's where you begin. You begin by starting relationships and building connections and just basically weaving it into your goal setting and your daily activity. Like maybe you're not going to do it every single day, but maybe you're going to set aside, an hour a month or an hour every 2 weeks to look at, your audience and who you've got in front of, and have you made any new connections? Are there any other places you can put yourself out there? And it's weaving it into your sort of day-to-day running of your business and making sure that that's something that you do have a look at all the time and you do come back to and you do track. Are you putting yourself out there? That's the question. So that then when you do obviously want to do something like I've just mentioned, maybe it's an event or something, you can, start small. You can maybe jot down a few people that you want to do it with, because if you're doing even if you're doing any event, there are multiple people that can get involved, and there are benefits of more people getting involved, obviously. But obviously you'd start off by thinking, well, what's the best fit? Who is the best fit? Who have I got a good relationship with? What's the best fit? Have we got a similar ideal client base? But we don't compete with each other, maybe, because you're not going to want to do full collaborations with people when their audience is exactly the same as yours, and you want their client and they want your client for the same treatments. That's not good. But if it's not a competitor, but it's a complementary type business or complementary type person, that is what you want. Okay, so many different ways of doing it. Different people, in different areas. But what you want is like a similar size audience. You want a similar size audience. You want it to be mutually beneficial. That's what I'm getting at here. So what does it mean really to do one of these events or do one of these collaborations or competitions, giveaways, whatever it is that you do with more than one person? It means leverage. It means leverage for you, okay? It's all about my motto: earn more, work less, have an unstoppable mindset, leverage your time, have time freedom. That is everything that I stand for. Like, absolutely, in a nutshell, that is everything that I stand for. The benefit here is that you get to leverage different skill sets. You get to learn something different from every single person involved. That's amazing, because you will take this skill set with you throughout your life. You might actually collaborate with someone who's really good and slightly maybe better than you at building an audience, right? Imagine how powerful it is to learn from people that can do that for free because you're in collaboration with them. What about if you are doing it with somebody that does completely different treatments to you, and they have a really amazing way of getting their clients in and retaining their clients? Wow. Imagine learning that, and you didn't know that. And they're going to learn from you as well. So it's all about thinking like, well, what do I bring to the table? I know what I bring, and then I can learn from all of these different people. It is leverage. Not only is it leverage for obviously different people's skill sets, it's also leverage for their audience, because although we don't want to compete, we still want to obviously tap into their audience. That is the whole point. So we want to be able to grow our audience with the people in their audience because we have a similar ideal client. Fantastic. That is what you do. You get to leverage that. But if you're doing it with more than one person, like I'm saying, if you're doing a collaboration with multiple people, you get to not only leverage one other person's audience, you get to leverage maybe 3, maybe 5, maybe 10, depending on how big you want to do some sort of event or whatever it is you want to do. So you get to tap in. And let's be honest, if you're tapping into that many people's audiences in one go, that is very good return on investment, isn't it? Because the time that you spend doing a collaboration with one person is probably the same amount of time roughly that you're going to spend doing it with more than one person, right? So that is very, very good. Not only that, but then you're going to get more opportunities if you genuinely have and build good, strong connections with these people that you get involved with. Because they're going to think of you when it comes to something else that they do. So they're going to get in front of you. So all of these opportunities might come your way. Different doors might come your way and open for you. There are so many different benefits to this stuff. And then that can also increase your authority, because if somebody else is tagging you, if somebody else is talking about you to somebody else, that increases your authority, your sort of expertise, your skill set as well, and your reputation. I just had to stop recording there and shut a window in my office because there was like a lorry going past. If you heard any of you in the background before, it's because I had a window open. Anyway, moving on. That's the thing. It's going to help your reputation, and not just your reputation, obviously everybody else's. You know, don't underestimate the power of human connection. Don't underestimate the real power of that as well in person, because these days everyone will think, oh, do that online. And don't get me wrong, you can leverage online. Yeah, it's real leverage, isn't it? Because you don't have to be in a physical space, and that is fantastic. But also, how good is it when you get in front of people face to face and you can have real interaction with people? So I feel like collaboration events are really good as well when you get people in the same place. That is also something to think about. But, you know, when you're doing these type of things, instead of thinking, well, it doesn't work and all the rest of it, it really can work, and it can be hugely beneficial for long-term success if you keep doing these things and tweak and repeat and work with different people. And you never know what's going to happen. And, you know, 5 years down the line, 1 year down the line, even a few months down the line, you never know what's going to happen. You know, that's what makes these things a success, is other things that come from them. And so, yeah, everyone benefits. But the thing is as well that I would say is, if you are going to do any collaborations, because I think it's just such a good idea, get in front of people, you know, as I've said, I think it's very important to, and I've touched on this before, but I think it's very important to write things down, get plans in place, have proper meetings about stuff, maybe a Zoom call, make sure you're talking about what you want from this. And so you understand what everybody wants from this, every other person, what do they want from this? And it's almost like a contract is drawn up and like ideas are met, because there's nothing worse than saying to me in a coaching call, oh, I tried that, Zara, it didn't work. And I break that down and I'm like, well, what did you do? Oh yeah, no, I said, oh, could you post this and that'd be great and I'll give you this for free. Well, that's not really a collaboration. That wasn't thought out well enough. So you might think you've collaborated with somebody and you've tried to tap into the beauty of this collaboration thing, but you really haven't if all you've done is ask somebody to post for you on social media and you will give them a service for free. That is not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about a real thing being organised between you and another, or multiple others. As I've mentioned, that is what this episode is trying to get across to you, is that you can collaborate in that way, and it just opens things up on a whole new level. And it's about getting things done in writing. So highly recommend that you have a think before, you know, give it some time to think about what type of thing you would love to do for you and your beauty business. Think about the network that you do have. Do you need to keep doing some more work on that? think about when you're going to start scheduling that into your goal setting and in your operations of your business. And then think about, okay, who should I approach? What kind of event could I do? What kind of thing could I put together to do all of the things and give me all of those benefits that I've just told you about? So think about that and think about how everyone can benefit, because again, this is another thing when it comes to collaborations. It does have to be equal effort. And this is another thing. Some people you might realize that you do a collaboration with somebody and that one part of it doesn't work, and that's okay. It's not a problem. We learn from that. We grow from that. But if somebody isn't putting in as much effort into this thing as somebody else, I've seen huge things going on in groups and on Facebook and all sorts of places where, they all want to make use of each other's email list, which is great. But there's one person that doesn't pull their weight. And so that is really annoying. And I do get that. But again, you learn from that. You get everyone in agreement. You do what you can. You encourage all of the engagement. You encourage all of the share. And you say, this is where we're going to do it. We have to post a minimum of X, Y, and Z. Everything's written down. All of that. Think about how we can do this, how we can make it unique. What do we all have to offer? Do all of that. And then learn from it. Because it's not all going to go absolutely right, because everybody has to put in equal effort. So see how it goes, learn from it, and then it will help you draw up your next idea and your next kind of email to the next person or people that you do this with. And I really do recommend that you do it. If you do this, by the way, if you do something like this and you get a few more people than just one person involved, please let me know. Please let me know how it goes, because it is so interesting to see the people and the differences between the people that do it and the difference between the people that don't do it. If you want to be a successful person, if you want to be somebody that's different to everyone else, you have to do things that make you feel uncomfortable. You have to grow as a person. Otherwise, your business isn't going to grow. Your business won't outgrow you. You have to grow with it. And you can do it. You can do this. All you have to do is be yourself, right? Because whatever you put into an email to someone or a DM or whatever has to be the same person that they meet and that they see. So you've got to do that. You've got to be yourself. You've got to be authentic. You can make the first move, right? Align it with people that share your business outlook. Align it with the people that share your values and your vision, and people that are growing their business similarly to you are, or the influencers or the characters, whatever it is that are sort of on your wavelength, because it's got to be authentic, and you've all got to be sort of, you've all got to have something out of this that you want. And you understand what I mean when I say people that are on your wavelength, right? Hence why it needs to be all well thought out. But too many beauty pros, like I say, they tell me I did this. I've tried that, Zara, and it didn't work. And actually, no, you didn't do it. And you need to do it properly. If you need any help with this, I hope this episode helps get your cogs turning anyway. There's also a section on collaborations in my online course. In fact, there are a lot of sections on all sorts of things about growing your beauty business, earning more and working less in my online course. It's currently 90% off. You can click the link in the description below to take you to the page that will give you more information on that. If you have any questions, you can pop into my DMs. I'm always available to answer your questions. And of course, please let me know if you take the initiative and start doing the things that I've spoken about in today's episode. But for now, I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights that will help you in your beauty business and life. If you did, please take a screenshot and tag me in your stories. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my socials. The links are always in the descriptions. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you more and more great content. Until next time, keep building that business.